Let me first thank the Program Director, Raj, and recognize the chairperson who's just spoken now of the Wi-Fi Forum, Mr. Andy Ngaba, the various leaders of the telecoms industry who are present here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to address you this morning in what I'm told is the first ever conference of Wi-Fi Forum of South Africa. President Jacob Zuma, in his 2015 State of the Nation address this year, declared this year as the year of the Freedom Charter and unity in action to advance the economic freedom. Every sector of society should play a part in ensuring that all South Africans realize the liberties of the Freedom Charter as we work towards an equitable society without widespread poverty and unemployment. I must preface my discussions today by stressing the critical role access to reliable and affordable internet connectivity has to play as we grow South Africa's economy to combat these triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Improved access to internet will modernize and positively impact on the transformation of our government service delivery model, advance the way we do business, and boost our economic growth, and the way we interact with each other as citizens. As we enter our long journey, or shared journey, to an inclusive information society envisaged by the National Development Plan. Access to internet is the single most powerful equalizer. We have to bridge the devastating effect of our apartheid past, the gap between the rich and the poor, and the rural and urban divide in our country. Currently, South Africa has a close to 49% internet penetration and only about 17% high-speed broadband penetration. There is a lot of work before us in order to achieve the targets we have set to ourselves for 2020 and 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, the focus and commitment by the government to deliver broadband to all South Africans is based on the understanding that there is significant development benefits and impact provided by the availability of ICTs and broadband services. As such, these services must be reliable and affordable to ensure that they are accessible to all South Africans. In pursuit of this goal, government has developed South Africa Connect, our national broadband policy, to guide how we best can roll out the broadband and ICT services to all South Africans. Through South Africa Connect, the government aims to ensure that as we connect all South Africans, it is cost-effective to deploy these broadband services. Four key tenets that underpin this, our South African broadband policy are the digital readiness, as you know, digital deployment, building a digital future, and realizing the digital opportunity. The first phase, or the pilot of implementation of South African Connect, will begin in the next financial year, beginning 1st of April this year, and will be completed in the next 2 and 3 years. In this pilot phase, we are aiming to connect more than 580 clinics, more than 4,000 schools, more than 180 police stations, and more than 572 other government offices to broadband. At the same time, by June this year, will be completing or finalizing the plan to connect the rest of government offices, which we aim to complete by 2020. It is envisaged that this will drive and increase the uptake of the use of ICT as more South Africans access e-government services for the efficient service delivery. Our focus on the broadband deployment is based on that understanding, I repeat, that there are significant deployment benefits to society arising from the availability of this broadband. South Africa Connect policy framework is important to know that and reflect that at this forum discusses the best means to deploy Wi-Fi in South Africa. Report indicates that 80% of South Africans who access the internet use smart devices, and approximately 70% of internet traffic from mobile devices is directed through Wi-Fi network in developing countries globally. The key thing is that the inexpensive equipment used to create Wi-Fi hotspots and their low operating costs make it possible for widespread adoption of Wi-Fi as we deliver as a delivery method for the goals of South Africa Connect. As we connect the unconnected, especially those in rural areas and informal settlements and townships. It is critical that the ICTs and Wi-Fi as delivery medium support these job creation objectives and economic development. The technology platforms that we build should facilitate the development also of small and medium businesses across the country. So I hope that even in this Wi-Fi forum, when we meet maybe in 3 or 4 years' time, we would find more and more people from my village than from Pretoria, where I'm staying as a migrant worker at the moment. We will find more and more entrepreneurs working together with the big companies from Johannesburg, entrepreneurs from small rural towns, entrepreneurs from small informal, from all these informal settlements around Johannesburg. Wi-Fi technology, as we have heard, really plays an essential role in achieving universal access to our people. And what I like about you, because we're also much worried about the costs to communicate in South Africa, we're working with the industry to enter into very serious discussion on how we engage and ensure that the costs to communicate are affordable to all South Africans. In short, I'm pleased and welcome the formation of the Wi-Fi Forum South Africa. I'm looking forward to hearing you about projects that were run by the forum to contribute to a Wi-Fi revolution in our cities, in our villages, and in our informal settlement. I urge the Wi-Fi Forum South Africa to work towards ensuring that this medium, as we've said, is not only limited to urban areas. I'd like to repeat this. But we form part of that collective commitment for digital inclusion and information society. What is going to be key for us, because you work on the unregulated segment, is that there is partnerships in what we do. We have to partner so that we don't duplicate the infrastructure first of the first. Government, as you know, they are also having this ambition of deploying these free Wi-Fi hotspots in order to access the e-governance. But as government, we cannot roll out all these things on our own. It's how do we partner with the organization like yours. The partnership will also be constituted through your corporate, because I know some of you are coming from big corporates, your corporate social investment programs. And we really like you to meet us in ensuring that we connect some of the schools, at least, or public facilities like hospitals. The issues of open access networks and infrastructure sharing are very important in the deployment and and rolling out of the South Africa Connect. We are continuing to engage the private sector and make sure that they play and focus in increasing the efficiencies to the shared deployment and open access models. The key to Wi-Fi then is going to be how you also contribute to our discussions we're having now on our rapid deployment policy, because I understand all of you will be gunning for the sites. How these sites are going to be regulated, how do we going to make sure that these sites are available to everybody instead of becoming exclusive use of the few. That's what is going to be important in our discussion as we move forward. Self-regulation, yes. We support self-regulation, but we have to define the minimum standards of this self-regulation. It's in that respect that we encourage that engagement between our officials and the forum and the rest of the ICT industry. As I said, we need to find each other on the minimum standard of this equipment and how we deploy them. The minimum standard in terms of prevention of cybercrime, which may occur through these networks, to ensure that that doesn't happen. The minimum standard in terms of ethical behavior, which we expect from the service providers of these Wi-Fi networks. So there's a lot of work and interaction which needs to happen as we define these standards. My reading of the Wi-Fi Forum mission statement indicates that the forum is committed to be an active participant in the rolling out of reliable and affordable broadband services to all South Africans. We have already have certain lower levels of government like municipalities. I understand some are represented here today, who are rolling out these Wi-Fi systems and networks in their municipalities. The key thing is then how do we partner in that? I live in Tshwane. I think Tshwane is known to be leading in this regard, connecting the townships, the public parks, and so on. But to me, the difference will only be realized when we don't think of the metros. We also think of small towns, small villages, that we have entrepreneurs in those villages who will also contribute to ensuring that these people and small enterprises are also thriving there. But ensuring that the cities and the small towns, all of them, have access to this Wi-Fi and networks. Ladies and gentlemen, as I move towards closing, we all know where we come from the apartheid. We all know how much work we need to do to close these gaps arising after the apartheid past. But our inability to close the digital divide will do far more harm than the apartheid system. South Africa as a whole needs to work actively to ensure that affordable and reliable access to internet is not an exclusive privilege, but a reality for all South Africans. In that regard, I wish this inaugural conference the greatest success, and I hope, even if I'm not going to be able to hear all the time, we'll be looking at the outcomes of the deliberations of this conference. So we wish you well in your endeavors, and would like to stress that these Wi-Fi systems, we should not see them as adversary to other current deployment technologies like fixed or mobile, but we must see them as complementing each other. So it is in that spirit of cooperative working together that we can really create an inclusive information society in South Africa. I thank you very much.